bring up language because my boyfriend and I got into a fight probably the next day.
After we saw each other?
And he was angry with me, and he's like, you always do that. The second you start talking, like the second you say anything bad about yourself, I stop listening.
He said that?
Yes. And throughout the conversation, like, I didn't even realize when I was doing it. It's become that ingrained in me, and so I wanted to bring that up because I forgot to put it in the log, I think.
Yeah. What do you mean? Like, what do you say that causes him to stop listening? You put yourself down, or?
Or I'll compare him to me and say something like, I know you're smarter than me, but, and
he tunes out.
And I don't even notice when I'm doing it.
Wow.
This is retarded, blah, blah, blah. Here's my thought. Like, I put myself down constantly.
Wow. And he notices it.
And he notices it. And when he pointed it out, I thought about it, and I was like, oh yeah, okay. When we first got together, you would argue with me and like, no, that's not true.
You wouldn't back down.
He told me, like, he would argue with me and say that it wasn't true. I wasn't stupid, or it wasn't, whatever bad thing I said about myself, he would try and
negate it.
Negate it. And then he told me that he's gotten to a point now where he just stops listening.
That's interesting.
And
obviously not very healthy.
Yeah.
But it's not necessarily hidden to blame, though.
No, but the fact that I don't even know when I'm doing it is alarming.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I mean, do you feel comfortable with asking him to help you in changing this?
Well, the funny thing is that he said, I'm gonna say a safe word when you do it. And I was like, okay. And he goes, I'm going to tell you shut up. I'm like, that doesn't work.
That doesn't work.
Tell me shut
That's
up
not a safe word.
You tell me shut up when I interrupt you. That's not safe. And
what about like lizard or something?
Well, he goes, Chula Vista. I was like, okay, fine.
Okay, I think a safe word is good. But you might also be better off if he just tries to observe for maybe like 3 days and writes a check mark. Like on a piece of paper, just write a red X or a check mark every time you do it in like a period of 3 days. And then shows it to you, and then say, okay, this is what I found. But this is without interrupting you. This is how many times you've done this, you know?
Okay, I can ask him to do that.
Okay, because it's important to first identify the problem, how much you do it, and then show it to you, and then we can talk, and then reversing it would be, the safety word, and helping to do that. But I think it'll be surprising to you to see, like, wow, I do it that much, and see all these red marks on the piece of paper, because numbers don't lie.
Right.
And it sounds like he really cares about you and he loves you, so he would be willing to do this.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, I think he would. It's like, check mark, check. And it will open your eyes to what you're doing to yourself, what you're saying. Because we talked last time about language, and the language you use creates your reality. And if you see, I'm putting myself down that many times in just one conversation, and then what am I even thinking in my head? Like, what negative thoughts are going through my head about myself? If I'm putting down somebody that I don't like at school and I'm talking negative about them, think about how low their self-esteem is.
Right.
And yourself, I mean, imagine if you see that, how many times you actually say negative things about yourself. It's going to be a real, eye-opener for you, and a real, I'm ready to make this change. So I think that'll be really important for you. And for him. Wow, that's interesting. I'm glad you brought that up. There was this interesting experiment that, have you ever seen the movie, what was it called? What the Bleep?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, you have? Okay. So were you paying attention to the water crystal experiment? Very interesting.
This is the juxtaposition. I think that's the word I want. I believe these things, the law of attraction, and that
the water formations turn out all ugly.
We essentially create our reality and how all of the energy interact. I believe all of this wholeheartedly.
It sounds like you do.
And yet,
you're not necessarily living it.
I'm not living it at all.
Okay. Well, we're gonna change that.
Okay.
Okay. So the last 2 sessions have been more about getting to know you, what your issues are, and like sort of a discovery, figuring it all out.
Mhm.
The next couple sessions are gonna be a little bit more active and
Okay.
interactive, more exercises and stuff like that. We're gonna do some NLP exercises. We may do some hypnotherapy and hypnosis if you're up for that.
I'm very interested in that.
Okay, good. Me too. Because we are going to change these beliefs once and for all and change what the hell is not working so that we can be at the most joyful, exciting self and live the most exciting life ever.
I am joy.
You are joy. So like I said, we want to make that match your life.
Okay.
Okay. Are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm ready yesterday.
Do you deserve it?
Yes.
Say it.
Damn, why is that so hard? I deserve it.
You deserve what?
I deserve the best life possible.
Yes. Okay, next time we're going to say it with a little more meaning.
It's so freaking hard.
Wow, so that just shows you, it's hard for you to say it. I mean, that's something that we need to uproot, work on.
Yeah. Yeah.
By the way, do you write any affirmations?
Do I write any?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Do you say any?
No.
Okay. Mm.
Unless I randomly think about it, 'cause I'm like, this is a positive thought, is to replace the negative one, and then I'll think to myself, and then that's it.
Okay, so that's something that I'm going to put on the table as well.
Okay.
So that's your assignment for the week, but I've also got another assignment to you that I'm going to email to you.
Okay.
It's a sort of a confidence assessment where you're going to kind of talk about some of the things, talk about you again, which is your most uncomfortable subject.
Absolute worst for me.
Yeah, and some of the things that you actually like about yourself.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yay.
Yay, joy.
Well, you wanted to push me out of my comfort zone.
Yes, exactly. And is your man like supportive of this too, of us working together?
I think he's fearful.
Fearful of what?
Well, the first thing he said to me when I mentioned that your specialty, was relationships or something, he's like, she's gonna hate me. I was like, why?
Yeah, that's interesting. Because I actually, like, from what I know, he seems very supportive.
I think that he's fearful that that I will decide I don't want to be with him, and that you will be the catalyst to make me leave, and his patterns, one of his patterns is the fear of being left.
Abandoned.
And his first wife leaving him didn't help that.
Yeah.
It just reinforced it. So, I think he is supportive of the process, but I think he's also really fearful of the outcome of it. So.
Well, I mean, if he loves you, he needs to know that whatever is best for you is the spot you need to be in.
Yeah.
And explain to him that it's like you're working on yourself to become the best version of yourself, happy and feeling like your life has meaning. That can only help the relationship.
Well, and he is supportive of that. I forgot, the same night that we were fighting, he said that he kind of sees it as a failure on his part because he feels like he should be able to help me be the best person I can be. And so he's really happy that that I'm excited about the process and that he wants me to succeed, but he also is disappointed in himself.
I can see that too.
Because I'm not talking to him about.
Right. I see that, and I can respect that.
Yeah.
But then again, he's not a life coach. He didn't study this,
Well, that's what I told him. I said, you may apply the NLP in your life, but you don't know how to tell me how to.
Right.
And so, you can't be mad at yourself for that. I'd much rather you spend your time thinking about these things.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
And when you start mixing up the roles and all of a sudden he's like the coach or the therapist in the relationship, I mean, that's not the healthiest either for the relationship. And I want him to see you at your best and not necessarily have to be dealing with bringing you out. It's not necessarily his responsibility. So he could be your boyfriend, but he doesn't have to be your coach.
Right.
So I think if you explain that to him, he'll feel better too. So what is your plan for this week? Do you have anything going on?
Besides making a list of risks today?
Yeah, and by the way, you can make it as long as possible.
Okay.
I would actually hope the longer the better.
Well, the easier, the first ones will be like the most absurd.
Mm-hmm.
The ones that I really don't think I'll be doing due to like financial restrictions or things. Those are the safe ones. And then as I go, it'll start to be more.
And let finances be no barrier too, by the way.
Okay.
You know, just let it all out there, like if you had your dream life type of thing.
Yes, risks to take. Which is funny because I actually randomly decided to look up quotes and post one on my Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
And the one that I chose was, if failure was not a possibility, what would you choose to do? Or what would you attempt? And I posted that, and a bunch of people wrote things. Most of them like, fly, slap a lion on the ass. My boyfriend said try to fail, because that's the way he is.
Try to fail.
Tell him he can't do something and he'll try to do whatever it is.
That's pretty smart.
But yeah, so, you know, there's a reason I posted it, I'm sure. Get me start thinking about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But no, as far as anything else, there's never any plans.
Well, hopefully you and your boy can get out sometime this weekend. It's good for you guys.
Something.
Yeah, and it'll make you guys, anytime you try new things or just get out of your zone, out of your house or your camper.
Yeah.
It'll be refreshing for you guys. So I recommend doing something, whether it's just even like having a candlelit dinner in the forest or something.
Yeah.
Or your camp trip.
I wanted to ask you a question about the log.
Oh, okay, the client log?
Yeah.
Oh, right. So basically that's kind of like it's sort of like a journal almost, you know. It's a place for you to record your thoughts and write if you wanted during the week. At any time you can just record it, and I have access to it, and I believe you have the ability to make it private if you want to.
Okay.
But it's cool because it's a way to sort of, you know, chronicle your progress. Because you can look back and like 5 weeks later, like, oh wow, I can't believe I wrote that. I was in that space and now I'm happier, or this and that. It's kind of a good way to sort of keep the momentum going and being able to record your thoughts if you want me to see it too.
Okay.
So you can choose to do it or not, but it's not mandatory.
Okay, and then I think I was confused because there was that and there was like after session.
Oh, the post-session recap?
Yeah.
Okay. The post-session recap is where you, again, that's mandatory but encouraged because it helps. I'm sorry, it isn't mandatory but it is encouraged.
Okay.
Because it helps you sort of lock in the learnings and everything from that session, and asks you like what was your biggest discovery or breakthrough during that session and everything. And in that email, I believe it explains where to go to get into that post-session.
Yeah, I went to each of the things and checked out the website.
Okay, cool.
I was just...
So that's the thing to do after the session.
Okay, I just wasn't sure with the log and the post-session thing, if you had a preference or...
Yeah, just, you know, so the log is more the in-between, like in-between sessions during the week, just whenever you feel inspired to, or depressed, whatever. And then the post-session is just is after the session.
Okay.
Sound good?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
Anything else?
Yeah, let me know if there's anything else.
I don't think there's anything else.
Okay, if there is, feel free to email me.
Okay.
I think that was a productive second session.
Yes.
I'm getting to know the real joy.
How sad. My response was, I'm sorry. That was my response in my head.
When what?
When you said, I'm getting to know the real joy. I thought, I'm sorry.
Wow. We need to work on that.